Welcome in, everyone, to episode 2 of King's Corner. I'm your host, ACkingpin 27, joined by my co-host, Fightin' Titan. Titan, how are you doing today, man?
What's good, man? I'm doing super fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm great, man. Glad to have you in here for another episode of King's Corner. If you guys missed episode 1, we showcased pretty much a little background on myself and Titan. So you guys can get to know us, get to know what we're all about here in preparation for this podcast stream. But episode 2 is going to be focused on the NFL predictions. We're going to predict NFL division champs, NFL conference champs, and Super Bowl champs. We're going to see how well our predictions stand up here by the end of the season. As always, if y'all are watching here live on Twitch, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate the love, and I appreciate the support. If y'all are watching this podcast stream on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully you enjoy the content. If you guys are enjoying the video, make sure you drop a like on the video, smash that subscribe button, and tap that bell notification so you get notified when we put up more videos on the channel. But without further ado, we're going to jump right in to this NFL predictions episode. Now, I made a tier list on TierMaker. If you guys look in the comments section of this video, you guys are going to see the link to my tier list. Check it out. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about my tier list, what you think about our rankings today, and who you have winning the Super Bowl by the end of the season. I think there's going to be a lot of good comments, good content come out of here. I think Titan and I are going to agree and disagree on a bunch of things. So I'm really looking forward to this video. I know Titan is too. But Titan, so you've seen my tier maker list. You know what it's all about. I want to know who you think, so we're going to start it off right now. Who do you think is the worst team in the league? I'm not necessarily thinking someone's going to go win 16, but who do you think is legitimately the worst team in the league this year?
Who I think is the worst team in the league this year? There's a couple of people. You're just talking about like overall, I presume, right?
Yeah. Who do you think straight up worst team? Straight up is the worst team on paper, and they will finish as the worst team at the end of the season.
Honestly, I think it's going to be the Falcons, bro.
Really? Wow,
Yeah.
bro. I did not expect that answer from you.
I do. Everyone's going to take that tee up with the Jets.
No,
right?
see, and I'm not even taking the Jets.
But I think it's going to be the Falcons.
Okay.
The Falcons.
Okay.
The decent things they have on defense are pretty old, right?
Okay.
They haven't had any kind of life breathed into their coaching in a while.
No, wait a minute. You don't like Kyle Pitts, the new tight end?
I think that lipstick on a pig, right?
I got you. I get what you're saying there.
Oh, right. So, I mean, here's the thing: is who else do they have on offense?
Calvin Ridley.
Good. Okay. Who else do they have on offense? Really, we're gonna.
Cordell Patterson. Todd Gurley.
They don't. They. I mean, Gurley. What? Come on, you don't even. What? Yeah, no.
Right.
Like, I mean, when I say that, you know what I mean, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They don't have
100%, bro.
Don't have anybody that's gonna scare you, right? So, if Kyle Pitts is the phenom that he is.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a hell of a season. I think he's going to have a shot to win Rookie of the Year.
I think he's going to be doubled up, and I think he's still going to be
I'm with
productive.
you, yeah. I'm with you there.
But they're going to be mostly one-dimensional. They're going to put 2. They're going to put 8 in the box. They're going to put 2 on Pitts, and they're going to single up everybody. Maybe put a safety over the top.
100% there.
But Matt Ryan's not throwing deep on fools no more. There's not Matty Ice. And even when he was Matty Ice, he was king of the medium route and the check down.
I do think Matty Ice is going to be icing his shoulder and his knees pretty much all season. But that's not my worst team, bro. I'm actually leaning to the team that's in Houston. I think the Houston Texans are the worst team in the league. I don't think they've done enough.
Really?
I don't think they've done enough to sustain the AFC South. I legitimately think the Jaguars are going to be bad. I think the Texans are just going to be worse. I think with Deshaun Watson's, I think with the situation involving Deshaun Watson, I think that man is going to have so much in his head, and he's either two things are going to happen with him. He's going to come out and he's going to be able to block out all the distractions, and he's going to have an MVP season, right? That's what's going to happen. Or, and this is my prediction, he's going to falter. Now, whether that is the league comes out because of the civil cases and suspends him. Who do they have as a backup? They got nobody. Their run game, David Johnson. He's old. He's older. He's waning down. Their offensive line. Yes, they have a couple pieces. They're old and waning down. Their defense, J.J. Watt, injury prone, and he's gone. He went to Arizona. You really don't have anybody on that team that is sustainable, I think, in my eyes, to really compete in the NFL. It's an NFL team, but this team reminds me of the Browns with Hugh Jackson. You have a little bit of talent in certain positions. You have talent at certain positions, but you don't have enough across the board to really do anything.
You're talking about like the Jamie Collins years and the offensive line with like Zeitler.
I have the Texans winning 3 games this year, or even 2 games and being the worst in the league.
Man, I just need the Colts to match up. Like if anybody thinks that I'm like AFC South is trash, that's cool. The Titans could use extra scrimmage games for when they play the real folk. I'm good with that.
So if you guys are looking at the tier list on the really low win scale, I have the Texans, the Falcons, the Giants, the Jets, and the Broncos. I do think the Broncos are going to be better than advertised. I just don't think in that division they're going to really be able to get on a run. It won't surprise me if they do, because they do have some speed and some talent at key positions. I think Bridgewater can win some games, but I'm just not sure they can win enough in that division.
So here's the most amazing thing, and I just wanted to point this out while we're on the subject. The Broncos, you put them in the 3 to 4
I put them in that bottom tier, yeah.
So here's the craziest thing that just how much things make a difference. You remember that like 3-week period where they're like, Aaron Rodgers is going to the Broncos. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, Broncos Super Bowl or bust. Elway's a genius.
Hey, hold on. Elway will be a genius next year when Aaron Rodgers signs with Denver.
Yeah, more than likely.
100%.
But the craziest part is how quickly they went from Super Bowl contender to nothing.
Absolutely.
And Rodgers never even leaned out the window and said the word Denver.
Absolutely.
Man was in Hawaii partying. Not a care in the world.
I'm 100% with you there, man. 100% with you. He didn't care. Yep.
Now, other segue, if Rodgers sucks it up this year, which he probably won't, but I'm telling you, man, I know my man Chev's hopefully listening, and I love the whole, Packers reunion thing. Man, y'all gonna get roasted like a marshmallow if he sucks about rehiring all the old dudes. Cobb better produce. Cobb better produce.
So now we've started to kind of float around the league, and so what we're going to do is we're going to try to go division by division, give you a quick rundown of who we have winning the division. We're going to try to go into who we have getting to the conference championship, who we have getting to the Super Bowl, and ultimately who our Super Bowl champ is. So Titan, I'm gonna let you take. We're going to go kind of back and forth divisions here. I'm going to give you my division.
Okay.
I want to know who you have winning the AFC North.
The AFC North. Why would you start with that one? That's such a tough division to predict every year.
I think it's easy. I think it's relatively easy.
Well, of course you do.
And you want here's my honest take. My honest take. The league knows how to defend Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens have to prove that they have something different and they have developed Lamar into a passer. If that happens, the wide receivers that Baltimore has, the offensive weapons, the offensive line, and the defense that Baltimore has takes them far into the playoffs and wins that division. But if there's one hiccup, it's Lamar Jackson. If we can stop him, and Cleveland proved it last year. They took a game from him. I personally do not have Cleveland winning the division. I have Baltimore winning the division and Cleveland being the top wild card team, still getting the top tier wins, right? I still have Cleveland getting top tier wins, being the wild card team, but I don't have them winning that division. So that's my quick take. Honestly, that's my take on Lamar.
Interesting. So what's funny is when I made my picks, I actually have the Browns winning the division.
Wow.
As much as that pains me.
Wow.
I'll tell you why. Yeah. So and here's how I got there, right? Because that's the whole point of the corner, right? So don't put me in the corner for this.
Hey, welcome into the King's Corner, man. The spotlight's on you. Let's go.
So Steelers, right? They've got 4 quarterbacks, and this pipe dream that Ben Roethlisberger is the rebuilt Terminator is fooling nobody, including the high school girls he likes to creep on, from what I understand from the headlines. Nothing has been proven in a court of law. I just don't think they have it. I think the Steelers were the worst 11-0 team last year. Absolutely.
I think you're not alone in that statement, so I think a lot of people think that.
And it's just not, it's just, I mean, they got 11 wins. Stop. So then you look at the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Hopefully Joe Burrow's healthy. I think he's going to have a great season.
That's an up-and-coming team right there, yep.
I think so. I think the Bengals cut it at like 8-9.
I do too.
Right?
I do too. I think they go 7-10.
Yeah,
I think it was 7
8
and
and
10.
9, 7 and 10. If they get lucky breaks, maybe hit that 9-win mark, maybe.
Yep.
And then you get to the Ravens, right? And here you get to the Ravens before I get to the Browns. And the Ravens lost a lot, right? When they gave up their
True.
main offensive line. Yeah, they got somebody in, I get it. But they lost a major offensive lineman to the Chiefs, right?
No, well, they also were able to get Zeitler on that team.
They were, right? But a lot of that stuff, right? They can have. How many times have you seen a championship caliber team on paper, right? But not in chemistry.
Hey, wait a minute. That's the Browns. That's the Browns to a T. The Browns have to have the chemistry and have to stay healthy to have a chance.
Right, and so that's where I think the stuff matters. And so like you said, the league knows how to defend Lamar, unlike my Titans did in the playoffs last year.
Right.
And I think a lot of places are going to have his number. I think your year with Hollywood Brown torching everybody is great, but I think Hollywood Brown is a knockoff Tyreek Hill. I think he's just as talented.
Yep.
I think it's the same dude in a different uniform.
Yep.
It's speed, it's solid hands, it's great breaks. Look at how easily he was neutralized in the Super Bowl. Tyreek who?
Yeah. When you're a one trick pony, you can get shut. You can be schemed out. Let's put it that way. You can be schemed out.
And that's where I reference kind of the Kyle Pitts thing too. But so you've got that to where
that's true statement. Yeah, you're good there. Yeah.
That you can get schemed out. The tight ends are a bit older. Running game is decent, right? Their running back is great. But how that RPO offense is only going to get you so far.
Yeah.
If you take the over the top threats away. So I say that the defense is okay. The defense is okay.
I do think the Browns. So the Browns Ravens discussion, I think, really comes down to Browns' health. In a lot of pundits' eyes, man, they're the most talented team on paper this year. With all the additions they've made, with all the changes they've made.
So they've been that way the past 3 years, though.
Well, no. I would not give them that. I don't think they've had certain guys in certain positions to be the most talented team. I think this year with a strong safety, an end, an actual threat at quarterback, because Baker's moving into his own. He's not perfect. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Tom Brady. He's never going to be that. But if he
doesn't have to be. Correct. Hell, Trent Dilfer with the Ravens won a Super Bowl.
And I take it back to my youth, man, when the Browns were running Mack and Biner and Metcalf and Leroy Horde. A two-back system in Cleveland has always worked. The two-headed monster that we have right now with Chubb and Hunt, I'm excited for. I do think in the NFL you have to pass, so it's going to come down to passing game and that offensive line play. But ultimately, I'm putting on our defense this year. Our defense has to step up and play big. I said, I have two ways of thinking. If we knock off Baltimore in both games, Browns win the division. If we go 1-1, I really think the Ravens pull it out. So,
what you're saying is not untrue, right? Where I put my perspective is this Browns team has been together for a little bit.
Yeah, this team is the young core. Correct.
They're retaining a lot of pieces. The young core is now a developed core. It's not a young core anymore, right? They're young, but they're developed. And
right.
They're not, And so I really think that with the consistent coaching, with the offensive talent, and then if the defense can hold, I really think that the Browns will take this division because I think Baltimore is going to play a lot of people. So they already play a tough division. Everyone's going to get played twice, right?
Right.
And so you look down the line, right? Not talking about preseason, right? You're looking
later in the season.
You're looking later in the season, right? So you're looking at, week 1 they're starting out at Vegas, so that should be a tee-up game, right?
You're talking Baltimore now, right? Okay.
I'm talking Baltimore. Okay. Baltimore then has to go into KC and win. Then a couple.
And wait a minute. So reminder, they go into KC after Cleveland starts the season against KC. So KC could come in hurt. They could come in limping. It could be a tough matchup week 1 into a tough matchup week 2 for KC. So.
And that's just as true for Browns, right?
100%. 100%.
Right.
100%.
But then a couple weeks later, they've got to go into Indy, and when they've got to go into, and we haven't talked about the team yet, the Chargers.
Yeah,
right? And
we're going to make it out there.
I think Justin Herbert is just going to destroy fools, and people are going to be in shock and awe, and they're not going to understand what happened to him.
I don't want to spend too much time on each division, but I also know that we've got some pretty big opinions on some divisions, so we're going to spend more time. So I want to jump.
Your division, like this one's always a longer discussion.
And I want to jump from mine into yours. I want to jump into the AFC South because I do think that the moves that the Colts made kind of put them in position, but I'm in the understanding that I don't like the quarterback. I'm not a fan of Carson Wentz. If you guys know me, you guys know how I play franchise. You do, Waz does, J Money does. Man, I would take that backup that they have there on my Browns franchise so when Baker Mayfield doesn't re-sign all day long. You guys know me. I develop the young quarterbacks. I'm not a fan of Carson Wentz. I was never a fan of Carson Wentz. Let's put it there. In my eyes, Tennessee runs away with that division. If Tennessee does not run away with that division, it is because of injuries and or they just get in a slump, bro. I have in the AFC, I have the Browns, the Chiefs, and the Titans in that top tier category. I have the Chiefs ultimately winning the AFC, but I have the Titans winning their division and being the number 2 team. I truly believe the Titans are the number 2 team in the AFC, and I think they're walking away. I think they are running away with that division.
I would agree. Which, it sounds like, well, you're a Titans fan, but you kind of lined up everything earlier, right? The Texans, trash.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, right? They don't have an identity. Yes, they drafted Trevor Lawrence, but they were, all the fans were wearing a mustache until they realized that dude sucked too. And so,
and I will say, I think that team could develop nicely. By the end of the season, the Jags could be completely different than what we see on paper right now and what we see in the games.
They can, but they don't have an identity.
I don't see it.
They're drafting pieces. They're in a rebuilding 3 to 5 year period.
And I remember that's what Cleveland was 3 to 5 years ago, and look what we are now.
Right.
So I do feel like this team could develop. That's what the Titans have done, 100%.
Yeah, we got the right coach finally. All hail Coach Vrabes.
All hail Coach Vrabes.
But this is just, it's where they're at, right? The Texans are trash. The Jaguars don't have an identity, at least not enough to challenge where the Titans are at.
Right.
They don't have those pieces like, they may have the Miles Jack, but they don't have the Jalen Ramsey, right? And you're telling me with no-name corners, you're going to stop Julio, Brown, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think Tennessee's running away. I think this division is the easiest to talk about for me and you because I truly feel the Titans run away. And if they don't, something happens. Julio gets hurt and is not 100%. AJ gets hurt. Derrick Henry gets hurt. I think that's what stops this team.
Oh yeah, and touching on the Colts, right? Quentin Nelson, their star guard, down and out.
Right.
Carson Wentz, down and out. And even if Carson Wentz comes back, which Carson Wentz are you getting?
Looking like he's coming back, but right. As I said, I'm not a fan of him.
Which one shows up? Which one shows up?
Right.
So,
so we touched on this next division a little bit. The AFC West. We've talked about almost every team out there, right? Who do you think the Chiefs are just far and above everybody in the AFC?
I mean, Lord, it's how hard do you have to convince yourself to not buy the hype? Is what. So
okay. So I have an answer to that. So look at last year's games with the Chiefs. They won a lot of games by 5, 3, and 2 points. Okay. I think that has the potential to burn them this year. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not saying that they're not gonna win the division. I truly believe, even if this team is not a 12, 13 win team, I think 10 wins that division because they're gonna beat each other up, and the Chiefs should have no problem winning their division. The team that gives them the most heartache is the LA Chargers.
No arguments.
I think you and I talked about that between Bosa, Keenan Allen, Derwin James, Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler coming back. I think that team is primed for a run, and I don't think they have the talent on defense to legitimately stop the Chiefs' offense. But if you get a Chiefs team that comes in banged up, you get a Chiefs team that's coming off a game against, let's say, a Baltimore, and they're coming in, They won the game, but I think they have a chance to lose, and I think the Chargers are going to be there to pick up the pieces.
I'll say this, man. I'll say this, King, is that if they go in with the same or near same record to where they're actually, like, say someone else in the AFC gets the bye, right? Say the Chiefs actually are human, they take a couple rough points.
I think it's Tennessee.
If it gets to a point,
excuse me,
that the Chiefs and the Chargers are playing for that in, I don't put it past the Chargers. They don't have to clip them 4 times. They just have to clip them once.
I think it depends on where the game's played. I think it 100% depends on where it's played.
I think it depends on where it's played because Arrowhead in the winter is much different than San Diego, LA in the winter.
Right.
I'll say it. Shock of every shock. But I think there's more of a chance for the Chargers to clip the Chiefs than there is for the Chiefs to dominate so heavily that division that no one else has a chance.
See, and I'm with you. I think, and when you look at the rest of the division, I think the Raiders, I don't think they're a middle of the road team. I don't think they're an 8-9, 9-8 team. I think they're really like 6-7 wins. We already talked about the Broncos. I have them down toward the bottom as well. I just feel like it's going to be the Chargers and Chiefs beating up the division. And I really think I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers and Chiefs split. And like I said, like you and I have talked about, and you said it, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down to one game, got to win to get in, and it's Chiefs and Chargers, and I think it go either way. I'm with you there.
Yeah. That's why you play the game, right?
Exactly, and I think there's a lot to this year's to see in this year's NFL season. A lot of things that have to go right for every team. Nothing ever goes right. I mean, the Broncos did make some some additions. They did get Kyle Fuller. They have a stout defense. I love the Broncos defense. I'm not in love with the offense, and I think that's what turns me off that Broncos team. The division in the AFC that I think is truly, and almost, I want to say almost anyone's game, but I think the Jets don't have a shot. I think the division that you could see some differing opinions here is the AFC East. You have the Jets, the Dolphins, the Pats, and the Bills. And the Bills have dominated in recent history with no Tom Brady in New England. But what everybody is forgetting, and I think this is the major thing that everyone's forgetting, I haven't seen too many people talk about it. The Patriots had the most players opt out of a season last year. They have the most players returning from a season opt out this season. I'm not saying that matters. I'm not saying that that's going to make them the Super Bowl champs. But I'm telling you to watch out for that team because we all know how Belichick gets them to play, regardless of who that quarterback is. We understand that if Cam Newton plays to his potential, the Patriots could be good. And if that defense plays up to its par, they could be great. I personally think it will be the Bills. I have the Bills and the Ravens as that second tier in the AFC. I truly believe that the Bills and Ravens are there. I think the Bills have a legitimate shot to get there. I think if the Chiefs struggle and they lose those close games and the Browns get hurt or the Ravens get hurt and one of those teams flourishes, the other doesn't, I think the Titans, one of those Browns-Ravens teams and the Bills are fighting for that number one spot. I truly think so. But I don't know who to pick in this division because do we think Cam Newton's going to be the starter all year is question one. Question two, is Mac Jones really the poor man's Tom Brady? And question three, what does this defense look like with these players returning? So I don't know if I can pick it. I love the Bills on paper. I got a buddy that's a Bills fan. Dennis, if you're watching, man, I hate to say it. I don't know if they can win. I just don't know.
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia to a T is going to come attack me for this. I just don't know who's going to win the division. I don't know if you have a clear-cut favorite in the East.
I do, man. I do. I'm a bit more decisive in this one. So the one thing that we completely agree on is that the Jets are they're just not going to do it. Now they're fantasy football players.
100%.
Great find on offense. So I'm gonna go the other way on the Patriots. I think that because of Cam Newton and his need for that dude. For being as fashionably confident as he is in public, he's super, super insecure when any other quarterback that may sniff around as a challenge is in town.
Okay.
Right? If he's not struggling with identity, he's struggling to produce. And so
okay.
Mac Jones is Mac Jones is there to play. Mac Jones isn't there to learn from Cam Newton, and that's a big difference, right? So two, all those players that were gone last year, most people think to say well rested. I think well rusted, right?
Again, those are the questions. That's a question mark, right?
The dudes weren't playing, and it is what it is. I think Jets 4. I think Patriots 3.
Okay.
I think the Dolphins are going to be the second best team in that division. I think a lot of people are sleeping on what the Dolphins
are you putting trust in Tua? Is that what you're telling me?
I think it's he's out of the sophomore slump, right? I
don't know, bro.
He's I think he's going to be okay.
So you're not putting any stock in the reports that last year he didn't know the playbook, he didn't know the offense, and that's why they stuck away from him for so long. You're not putting any stock. I mean, I truly believe a second year Tua is going to be better than first year Tua because he's going to feel healthy, he's going to feel more comfortable. I just don't. I see them again, much like the Raiders. They could be 9-8. They could be 8-9. They could be 7-10.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're better than 9-8, and I don't think that's enough to win the division. But that's me. So I want to know your take on the Dolphins here. I'm gonna let you go.
And I think that a lot of people underestimate the Dolphins and what they got, right? And if you look at their schedule, right? It starts out kind of tough, right?
Yeah.
But they play the Falcons, they play the Jaguars, right? They play the Panthers, they play the Giants, and we don't know what they're going to look like. They play the Saints.
Right.
And so there's a lot of games that they can make up ground in, and they also play the Jets twice too. And if they can clip the Patriots, the division's wide open in the sense that, are the Bills really going to blow it away that heavy? I think the Bills are probably the strongest team to win that division. When you look at
hands down, I agree.
You look at Josh Allen, who was written off in the first 10 minutes of his career, is just like, no, it's cool. I'll take my $100 million paycheck and just go on.
Absolutely, bro.
And so I think that I say it, and I'll just flash back to the Dolphins real quick. I think the Tua does, because I think that man has to be embarrassed. I don't think you can show your face in the locker room year two and not know the playbook. And I think public humiliation is a very, very effective tool for some folks, especially when you're a superstar athlete, that your rep can determine your employment. Right?
So we have some comments in the chat down here. Dirty World, what's going on, Dirty? How you doing, man? Thanks for stopping by. He says he thinks the Dolphins can be a sleeper. And again, I don't think either one of us is saying they can't be. I think what we're saying is I think this Dolphins team has done enough on defense to add pieces. I think they have enough on offense in their pieces, but I think this team is predicated on Tua. If he has a seat, like I said, second year, last year he was coming off the injury. Nobody knew he was 100%. I think he feels better. I think he looks better from what I've seen. I do think he can have a season. I just don't know if he can do it enough to beat these teams in the AFC. We've talked about the Titans. We've talked about the Browns. We've talked about the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills. I'm with you 100%. I see the Bills as tops in that division. But like I said, I just want to throw out there, you could see a Patriots run. You can't count them out, right? I do think it's rust. I do think on your part it's rust or relaxation. Which of them is really going to fight for him? But I do see the Bills walking away with that.
Yeah. I think that's it's pretty solid.
And I think Dirty said it best here. He says everything's on Tua sophomore year where they're supposed to make a jump. That's 100% right. He's got to show something this season.
Absolutely, but I'm more willing to put faith in an educated second year Tua, because not knowing a playbook is easier to fix than what Cam has going on.
Absolutely.
Right? Because even at the height of Scam Newton time, right? Even when he was super Scam Newton, and he made it to that Super Bowl, and I will tell you the play, because I had the, I always love repping players too, in addition to my Titans, right? And I had the
absolutely
huge Cam
100%.
Shirt. I was a huge fan of Cam until the Super Bowl where they played the Broncos. I can tell you the exact play.
Uh-oh.
And I think most of the people watching will probably remember it if they were watching that game. It was a close game. They were kind of going back and forth, and there was a fumble. I think he did a small check down, and running back got popped, or whoever got popped.
I know.
Fumble, I think he dropped it.
Yep, I know where you're going, and I think Dirty does too.
And he instead of diving on the ball like every other red-blooded American, right? This dude tries to bend over and pick it up, but it wasn't even like he was actually trying to get the ball. He was trying to see if he could bend over and grab it, like before people noticed and before someone hit him, like he was playing football. And some other no-name that people will never remember comes flying in, recovers the fumble, they hold the ball up. And that crushed him the rest of the game. That crushed the offense. The offense came out with their heads down the rest of the game.
100%.
The sheriff put him in prison, locked him away, and got his second Super Bowl, and that was it.
So
that is the moment that I turned on Cam Newton as a fan.
I think we're in agreement. I think for a couple times in this AFC, we've been in agreement on top teams. I think we agree the Bills here. So who do you have making it to the AFC Championship? If we're talking blue sky, everything works out well, who's your two teams in the AFC Championship? And go ahead and be Homer if you want to. It's okay.
Oh, I'm going to, because you know what? I'm allowed to root for my team when they're actually decent too, right? I suffered through Jake Locker.
I love Jake Locker.
I have suffered.
Bring Jake Locker back to Madden.
I suffered through Vince Young, right? I watched Lindell White fumble it two times inside the red zone, once in the middle of the field, and us lose an AFC Championship by 3 points.
Yep.
Right. I've seen all these things happen. So you know what? Blue skies, everything works out. Titans and Chiefs. Don't know who has home field. Depends on how blue the blue skies are.
Right.
In Nashville versus Kansas City. Right. And then that's what I got. I got Chiefs and Titans.
And then who do you have winning that game? I'm gonna put you on the spot right now.
Man, I've thought about this. I've able to get to this point, and as a homer, right, as a fan, it's so hard because the biggest question mark for the Titans is we are starting 7 out of 11 defensive players. 7 are new. Now some of those new are Janoris Jenkins,
some big time players,
Danico
big time players,
big time like Danico Autry getting in there opposite of Simmons. And our linebacking core is so good with Brown and Evans and Landry III. And we added Bud Dupree for this super stellar 3-4, right? Just a beautiful 3-4 for linebackers, right? Pittsburgh Steelers fans should be jealous of our linebacking core, right? Right, because that's linebacker you.
100%,
right?
100%.
But man, it's just so hard to pull it. And I know you're putting me on the spot.
Absolutely, 100%.
As a homer, I pray my team comes out on top. But as a fan of the sport, man, I just know it's going to be a hell of a slobber knocker, and that's about as much as I can give you commitment.
Well, we're going to talk Super Bowl, so you have a chance to think about it and who you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl when we talk NFC. But if you guys are watching my stream here, listening on screen, are my two teams that make the AFC Championship. Blue Sky, like I said, I think the Chiefs are going to run into problems in close games. I do think that every team is going to bring their A game against them, much like they did with the Patriots in years past. I think this team falters somewhere. Somebody gets hurt, and I think the Browns and Titans are fighting in the conference championship. Again, I'm not sure who gets the home field. I think I'm with you there. We're going to get back to Dirty World here, though. His comment, he says, we're talking about Cam Newton. He says, just the fact he hesitated and even thought about it for too long was funny. And he says,
Dirty, my man, absolutely.
He says, watch out for that Raiders defense. They'll actually be above average. And we talked about that. We did say that we don't think they're bottom feeders. We think they're middle of the road. I just don't see them getting over that 7 to 9 win hump. So
you know what, and that's a good point. If I can just run through one.
Yeah, go ahead, real quick. You're good.
So I would say this, and I agree with you. Agree with Dirty World. That's a great thing. I think I'm a huge Derek Carr fan. I think someone who's dedicated to an organization, right? It's like he's Derek Carr, the poor simp. Right.
Excuse me. Yeah.
He's just simping for the Raiders, and the Raiders are just having no business with him. Right. The Raiders tolerate him because there's not a better sugar daddy in the neighborhood. But But that's it, man. I love Derek Carr, and I think his dedication is underrated to the organization.
He's a big time quarterback in my eyes. It doesn't get the love because he's playing out west. I truly believe that. So we're talking AFC Championship. I have Browns Titans. I will tell you, on paper, I feel like this should be Chiefs, and I think you could put three names in the hat. It could be Bills, Browns, Titans. But I truly feel that this Browns team stays healthy. The defense has already gelled. I think the defense it doesn't even have to be the strong point. I think the offensive side, the passing game, must produce. If the offensive passing game produces this year, everybody in the NFL needs to watch out for this team. But I think the Titans, you said it best, and this is one point I was going to make. They have a bunch of new people on the defense that I believe will gel, and I believe that defense is designed to beat the Bills and is designed to beat the Chiefs, but I think will struggle against a run-heavy team with two backs. I'm not talking one back. I'm not talking one back that you can shut him down and you're good to go. Because I think the Browns defense, the front seven on that defense, has a legitimate shot.
Nasty.
I think they have the best. I think they have the best shot in the NFL to slow. I'm not saying stop. I'm saying slow down Derrick Henry. You see it when you and I play. What do I say? First guy has to slow him down. You're not going to stop him, slow him down. I feel like the Browns team has that opportunity. But at the end of the day, I think the Titans are winning the AFC. I think the Titans are going to the Super Bowl this year. They're my pick out of the AFC. I'm 100% with you there that they have a team, but they're my pick to go to the AFC. So if you guys down below in the comments, let me know who you guys have in winning the AFC this year, what you think the AFC Conference Championship looks like.
I agree. I think if the Tennessee defense can hold, that would be my pick to go to the Super Bowl. And I think that in the clutch, I think adding Danico Autry to put the middle of that defense solid. I think adding Julio Jones to
and that's what scares me is that passing game.
Well, here's the thing. It's not adding Julio Jones that should scare people.
It's AJ Brown's development.
Ridiculous.
It's AJ Brown's development.
Nope. It's not A.J. Brown's development.
Oh, I think so.
I don't know if so. We've talked about this. I don't know if you remember. It is the fact. What position on that receiving core is Julio playing? Do you know?
He's playing the slot.
He's playing the number 2 position.
Oh, I thought they were going to put. I thought they were going to put AJ in the slot.
He is playing the number 2. AJ is the true number 1.
Yeah.
He is playing the number 2. Julio and all that hands and experience and nasty route running that he brings is the number 2. He's not asked like he was with Atlanta to carry that team on the scoreboard.
Right.
He is 100% just gonna wreak havoc with the dude that's number 2. Oh, we got Jalen Ramsey. He'll lock down anybody. Cool. He can lock down AJ. Julio's gonna be on the other side of the field toasting your no-name number 2.
Right. I think, like I said, I think that's a four-headed monster between Derrick Henry, Julio, AJ Brown, and Ryan Tannehill. I think that's a monstrous offense.
Yeah.
But that's why I have both teams in there. Like I said, I think the strength of the Browns is going to be the defense. I think the strength of the Titans is going to be the offense. But I think both flip sides of the ball on both teams are going to be the determining factors. So.
Yeah, but I think that aspect, yes, hitting Julio is powerful. But I think the fact that he's asked to play 2 and he's taking pressure off of, as long as he stays healthy, off of A.J. Brown. Right. So you're telling me we're going to line up, and we line up in a single back. We don't even talk about Kari Blasingame. We'll line up in a single back with Derek, and you've got Ferkser as the one tight end, and you've got
fullback.
You've got Brown on one side, you've got Julio on the other, right, and then you've got Reynolds. Right.
Yeah.
In there, and then on the defense, Caleb Fairley, yeah, he's a flyer, but if that dude holds, that's a 6'3", 6'4" corner that runs like a 4.3.
I think
huge.
I think the AFC is going to shake out nicely. I think it's going to be some great games this season. But like I said, leave us a comment down below, guys. Let us know who you've got going to the AFC Championship, who you've got representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. That's what we're looking for here.
Titans.
Absolutely. So it seems like we agree. No matter how we get there, the Titans are coming out of the AFC this season. So we're going to get over into the NFC now. We're going to do the same divisions that we started with. We're going to start NFC North. So we've got the Packers. We got the Vikings. You've got the Lions and the Bears. So Justin Fields looks incredible. Justin Fields looks incredible. But they announced today that Andy Dalton will be the starter. We all know that's just a placeholder until Fields is ready. I don't see that team really being a threat. The Vikings, I think, are middle of the road as well. I have them in that 7-9 win, 7-10 win even. They could pull out some wins, I think, with the way that defense shakes out in years past. But I do believe that the Packers ultimately win this division. I have them as one of the top two teams in the NFC. I truly believe that Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I like Devontae Adams. I love what this team offers. I do think that this is the team that comes out of the NFC North, and they're my pick for that. What do you got?
I look at the AFC North the same way I look at the NFC North the same way I look at the AFC South. You've got a clear dominant team in Green Bay.
Yeah.
You've got the Vikings, who, like the Colts, are at minimum middle of the road talent. Maybe can surprise you if things work out.
Yep.
And then you've got the Bears, right? Similar to the Jags, it's kind of an unknown. You got a new quarterback. They're shiny. They're new. What are they going to do? We don't know. It's fun.
Right.
And then you've got that team where you're like, no, but nobody's buying the Lions. They're going to do anything, right? They sent Jared Goff there to die off $10 million a year at a time.
Right.
and that's it. That's it. Next division.
Now, what do you think? What do you think of Justin Fields? Do you think if the Bears make a move soon enough, early enough in the season, can they make a run at a wild card? Or do you think
no?
Do you think that team is just not talented enough and Fields needs another year?
I say no because you know what Fields hasn't seen? He hasn't seen an actual NFL defense.
I don't know. He saw the top defense this last game. He got popped and he said that hit wasn't hard at all. The man has quarterback swagger. He's good to go, man.
That's great. Cam Newton has his own socks. I saw how that played out. Okay.
Titan said it best. Next division.
Next division. And I'm gonna tell you that, like, yeah, it's preseason. What exotic blitz packages has he seen? No one has a whole lot of film on him. So they're running basic defensive concepts. They're not running exotic blitzes. And here's the thing. Who's he playing against? He's not playing against the top-tier defense. And hell, if he is, they're certainly going 40 to 30% effort.
Right.
No one's going to kill themselves in preseason because that money ain't going to make itself.
Yeah, 100% there. I think you said it best. Next division. I think we're good to go.
Okay, cool. Good talk.
I think you said it. We're going to head over to the NFC South. And I think, again, with the changes in this division, I think this division is a clear cut. I think it's the same as some of the other ones we talked about. I have the Bucks up there as well. I do think the Bucks, I think they improve. Bringing back 22 starters on the offensive defensive side of the ball, but I think the young guns improve. They developed. I think this team is better than what people are ultimately giving them credit for. There's multiple folks and pundits saying that, they could trip up. I think Tom Brady keeps them from tripping up. I think Bruce Arians brings them back down to earth. I do have them in that top tier of the NFC as well. The Saints, Jameis Winston can be a killer though. Jameis Winston can win you games. He can win you games and he can lose you games. So I'm interested to see what happens there. You've got the Panthers. I think are middle of the road to bottom of the road team. I don't think they're the worst team, but I don't think they're actually going to do anything of value this year, so to speak. So I do see the Bucks running away with it.
Absolutely. We agree.
All right.
The Bucks are the easy winner. The Falcons, well, you know where I stand with them.
Yep. We talked about
Panthers,
them.
the Panthers, welcome back, Run CMC. Welcome to being a one-dimensional team.
Yep.
With nothing at quarterback to where they put 10 in the box and you're just going to be frustrated. The Saints.
Yep.
Drew Brees was rusty, but Drew Brees is rusty about to retire is still better than most people's career primes.
100%.
Saints are just not. There's not a team that's a factor. There's nothing on any of those other three teams, right? And you're going to tell me a team that they're going to put up against a division where the 22 starters, the young guns got better.
Yep.
Brady is healed. Brady paid with an injured MCL last season. People forget that this dude just casually won his 7th Super Bowl.
So
NBD guys, right? Like, the dude has the swagger to toss the trophy on the boat parade.
So we've gone through two divisions in the NFC which we think are runaways. We're going to head over to the NFC West now, and I think this may end up being one of the toughest divisions in football. Everybody talks about the AFC North, and I love my AFC North. Trust me, it's a ground and pound, and it's lovely. I think this NFC West has a chance because I think these teams beat each other up. I think Seattle and Arizona are tops in the division. I think Arizona is going to surprise some teams. I have them in that middle of the road tier, but I could see them in that 10-win tier. I could see them being the third best team in the NFC. I don't think the Niners, I don't think they know what's going on at quarterback between Garoppolo and Trey Lance. I just don't think they have what it takes. And the Rams could surprise a lot of people. I think the spread offense with Stafford, we all know he can chuck the rock. We all know that, you give him some talent around him, he'll make the ball in the passing game.
We've never seen it outside of Megatron, but
right. The run
around him.
The run game in LA is kind of hurting with Cam Akers gone. They do have Sony Michel now in that trade with the Patriots. So I'm interested to see what their run game looks like. Their defense is on point. Maybe one of the best defenses in the league. But I truly feel like the Rams are middle of the road. I see the Cardinals walking away with the division. I think they're beating Seattle this year. I think they're making a step forward with the changes they made on this team, J.J. Watt, Hopkins. I do feel that the Cardinals are the top of that division. What you got?
So 49ers, I think probably shake out to be the worst in that division for exactly what you mentioned. They straight up dogged Garoppolo in public.
Like,
yeah, it was
100%.
Ugly. It was ugly, and
100%.
then was even harder to watch. Right, like daddy hitting momming at the dinner table, hard to watch.
Right,
is freaking them trying to come back from it. Right. Oh God, that was so painful. Then the next team I think is the Seahawks for a different reason.
Yeah.
I think this whole awkward Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, we're still friends. Like, just you're making it weird, guys. Just stop.
Right.
I put a lot of stock in those things because I think a poor chemistry affects on the field stuff.
Okay.
I think if you're not gelling and jiving as a team,
I can understand that. I can firsthand attest that's true.
Right. Wilson has lost who Wilson was. He is becoming more of a diva in the past season or two versus that wholesome, big-hearted team player that we all fell in love with.
Right.
I'm a huge Wilson fan, but he's slowly turning into douche McBaggins, and I'm slowly turning away from him as a fan.
He said the fuckery is real. That's what I heard from Titan right there.
Yeah. So I disagree with you. I think the Rams are going to come away with that division.
Wow. You got them coming out of the depths.
I got them not too far in the depths. And I referenced the team earlier. Look at the Ravens that beat the Giants. These were the Kerry Collins Giants.
I got you. Yep.
Pack and Ike Hilliard, Jason Sehorn, if you were taking you back a little bit.
Yep.
On the corner on defense, right? Had Michael Strahan in his prime. That Ravens team, it was not the offense. If you remember that game,
that was all defense.
One special team. Yeah. They had one special teams touchdown, 2 defensive touchdowns, and 1 offensive touchdown.
That was all defense.
They won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer.
They won a Super Bowl with ex-Browns. Remember that.
Sure. But they won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, and they played against Kerry Collins, right?
Yep.
So defense wins championships. That's been, offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Man, you got the Rams coming out of the West. Wow.
I have the Rams coming out of the West because I think no one's ever seen Stafford with real talent. I'm not talking about Megatron.
No, you're talking overall.
Fans.
You're talking overall talent on the team.
Overall talent. That's very interesting. He's going to be there. He's going to have a line. And yeah, the running game is dicey, but Matt Stafford is like, shit, that's been the past 10 years. And I've done stuff with that. Now I've got a defense. Matt Stafford doesn't have to throw 1,000 touchdowns a game. He just has to win games, and he's got the cannon to do it.
Yeah.
And I think the Cardinals have a killer offense. I think Hopkins is killer. I don't think Watt will be there the whole season because, hell, when is the last time he's been there a whole season?
I don't know. He says he feels good. I'm putting stock in the
Bro,
Cardinals.
he says that every year.
I know. I know he does.
Every year.
I know.
That's like Al Davis saying the Raiders aren't before he, died and was
They're not
chrono
moving
frozen
from
and
Oakland.
they're not moving from Oakland, right? I am still convinced that dude was cryogenically frozen and they unthaw his head once a year to call plays. I'm fully convinced.
I'm with you there.
But I think that the Cardinals are a great team. I do. I think DeAndre Hopkins and his hatred for the COVID shot, and this isn't political, it's all opinion of it. I think that's going to bite him if he can't make games.
So, let's touch on that because we haven't talked about that yet, and we've seen a couple players get dismissed from the team for activities for coaches popping and them being in positions. Do you think this virus is going to have an effect on the season, or do you think the players are well enough to know what's going on and are going to keep games from getting canceled and teams from forfeiting games?
Oh no, I think that's going to be the greatest X factor of all this season.
Okay.
Right. If you look at what's going on and what's being put out, although Pfizer was just recently approved, right?
Right.
Like, hey, it's safe. Everyone's also got to get a third dose. And
right.
I'm not a tinfoil hat guy, but if you look at your vaccination card, for those of you that are vaccinated, it has 4 spots on there.
Right.
Just
so
saying.
I just want to know your opinion on that real quick. Not to really go in depth.
Yes.
Not to do anything there.
But I think you're looking at the effectiveness of the vaccine, the fact that it requires a third dose. You've got people who are and aren't vaccinated.
It is going to come into play.
People who are vaccinated are still getting sick. So there's no way that it doesn't play some sort of a factor. I don't see how it doesn't.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Last but not least, in the NFC, I think what tears up to be one of, if not the worst division in football. I think there's a clear-cut favorite. I think if the team stays healthy, I think the Cowboys are running away with this division. I know everybody knows that I have a buddy that's a Cowboys fan, and we all rib him for being a Cowboys fan, but I 100% believe that this team walks away with that division. I think, and I'm not saying run, I'm saying they walk away with this division. I think the Washington football team is good. I think they are going to be well improved from last year when they had a great season. I think the Eagles with Jalen Hurts are going to be improved. I do not see the Giants. I see the Giants improving, but I don't see them getting out of the bottom tier. I think the Cowboys are a 10-win team, and I think the Cowboys are winning this division.
So the Cowboys, you said, are the NFC what? I'm sorry.
NFC East.
East. Thank you. I kept referencing the wrong division for some reason. Oh boy, man. So Eagles fans are still angry at Carson Wentz, right? Because if Carson Wentz doesn't play 75% of the snaps or go to the playoffs, whatever weird stipulation, then the Eagles get a second round.
Yeah,
pick.
right.
Carson Wentz still screwing the Eagles a year after he's left is beautiful. Right. I don't think the Giants are there. I don't think that.
No. I see them improved. Saquon's coming back. Yeah. Daniel Jones, another year under his belt. I see them improved. I don't think they've done enough.
Saquon coming back. What Saquon is coming back? Right.
I think we're gonna. I think we're getting AP Saquon. I think we're getting AP Saquon.
If we get AP Saquon, then that's solid. But you get Willis McGahee Saquon.
No, you're right. You're right.
The Washington football team of DC, Anaheim, whatever.
I think they're the most. I think they're the best second. I think they are the second team in that division.
They are, and it's eerily similar to the Titans division, right? You've got a team that has the talent. They just need to not suck when they have it, which is the Cowboys.
Right.
I still love you, Jay. You've got the Washington team who, if the Cowboys falter, that Washington team will absolutely step up and destroy that division.
Right.
That division is the Cowboys to lose.
I think if they get hurt, I think if there's players that get hurt, or they don't mesh at all, I think that team is doomed and Washington walks away with it. But I'm giving the Cowboys the edge here.
I am not. I will disagree with you. I am giving that division to Washington.
Wow.
I don't think Dak makes it through a season, and I think this is the same Cowboys team that I've seen. I love you, Jay.
Wow.
This is the same Cowboys team that I've seen the past X number of years with little to no improvements. You've got CeeDee Lamb, you got Amari Cooper, you've got Zeke. Zeke's been a dumpster fire in sneakers. Amari's been injured. CeeDee Lamb is carrying him. They don't really have the tight end situation's not great. The line is solid, great line.
Right, that's the line. Both sides of football solid.
But hell, Dak threw what a pass in fucking preseason, and the dude's like, "Oh my God, my shoulder! Help me, baby Jesus!
Yeah,
Use witchcraft."
I do feel that team has to stay healthy. You're right.
Right, right. And so here's the thing: is that it's not going to be the Dak that we fell in love with a couple years back, where he was making the big throws and the sexy runs. They're probably going to load manage his shoulder this year and just really not tell anybody.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Right. It's going to be like you remember when the jumping to base. Remember when the Nats limited old boy's pitch count to like whatever number of pitches for the season, and he topped out like halfway through the NLCS.
Yeah.
Same thing. I think they're going to limit Dak, or Dak's going to throw his shoulder out again. And he's going to make the Cowboys pay for giving him a crap ton of cash.
So I think we've come to a couple agreements in the NFC, a couple big disagreements on who we think is coming out. But who do you think makes the NFC Championship game in the NFC?
I think it's Green Bay and Tampa.
You guys are watching the stream this time. I think we have it pegged the same. I have Green Bay and Tampa. I am giving the edge to Tampa. I feel that their defense can shut anybody down in the NFL. I feel like their offense, if Brady stays healthy, can pick apart any defense in the NFL. We give Brady and Belichick so much credit. We say Brady was the one executing and Belichick was the mastermind. I feel like we see more and more the last couple seasons how good Brady actually is in his mind. Everybody talked about how Peyton saw things before they happened. I think Brady has that same thing. I just feel that the defensive side of the ball for Tampa, as young as they were in years past, and giving everything up is there. I think I'm going to upset Chevelle here, and I'm absolutely 100% right because he says he's unfollowing the channel and he's giving me back his mod status. Chevelle, I'm sorry. I just don't think the Packers can stop Tampa. Titan, what do you think, man?
Well, someone's a bitter Sally. That's okay. I think that, as much as I love your Packers, Chev, and I know you've got your MVP of the league, I also want to think that same league MVP is 1-4 in NFC championships if we're looking at stats.
Wow. He's pulling out numbers today.
You can't play fictitious nonsense with Chev. He'll yell at me, so I got to use real facts and numbers when I come to my man. So I think he's 1-4 in the championship, and I think he's got a chip. I think he's been boozing around in Hawaii and not playing in the preseason. I think that team feels really, really good, right? It's like a feel-good movie. The movie might suck, but you feel okay about it.
Right.
Same deal. I think they're the most. Now I say that they're probably the second most talented team in the NFC. I think they're gonna walk into the NFC Championship, but I think you're gonna see Tom. I think Tom's a cerebral assassin.
Yeah, 100%.
Tom is going to pick apart that Green Bay defense, and if Devontae Adams isn't everything he says he is, man, you better pray Randall Cobb. It's the Randall Cobb from 5 years ago, not the Randall Cobb that the other team just let you sell back for half price.
Right. No, 100% with you. So it seems like we're in agreement on who's making it out of the NFC. So this pits both of us choosing the Bucks and both of us choosing the Titans. I'm very surprised that we're picking the same teams here. I'm not going to lie. I'm very surprised that we came to the same consensus on the two teams making the Super Bowl. But the ultimate question, do the Titans have enough? Can the Titans do enough to run over the defense in Tampa and to shut down Brady's offense? What do you think? Do you think it's Brady comes out on top again, or do you think Tennessee gets their chip?
I think Tennessee finally.
Wow. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He went homer here. Hometown team. Let's go.
I sure do. I am absolutely going chalk, right?
Wow.
I feel like so. I think if the defense holds up, and I've been forthright about that, right? I think so. They played preseason. Wow. Titans beat them 34-3.
Wow.
But that's not the starters. No, but you know what that speaks to? Depth.
So, Titan, before you get going, hold on. Chevelle's coming in here, and he says if the defense wasn't crap, the Pack would have won at least 2 more Super Bowls. I can agree to that. If the defense wasn't crap in Green Bay, right? Okay. He says it's not Aaron's choice to not play the preseason. That's on Matt, and I 100% agree with that. They're trying to see what Jordan Love has. And he says the Titans don't have a chance on making the Super Bowl. Again, we talked blue sky. We talked what we thought was going to happen. I kind of saw the Chiefs losing a bunch of those close games that they won last year. and I feel like the Titans are going to really hit their stride and come out of the AFC. I think Titan said it best when he said this is a team that has, a lot of new talent on the defense, but it's a lot of talent that's played in the NFL that knows how to play. So I feel like they're going to end up running well. I'm against you there, though. I don't think the Titans have the firepower. And I think we saw it last year. I think we saw, what's his name, Patty Mahomes come in there with that stellar offense, with the defense that had looked good pretty much all season, and the Bucks tore them apart, bro. And when I say that I really feel that this defense in Tampa has improved, this is the game that I feel is going to show it best. I think this defense effectively shuts down, and I haven't said that ever about Derrick Henry. I think he is shut down. I think Tannehill is running for his life. I think the receivers are not going to be a factor. I think this game is legitimately Tampa's to lose. I think this season is Tampa's to lose. Yes, I know everybody's going to come after him. Everybody's going to throw their best at him. Everybody's going to try to knock him off the pedestal. But Brady's been there before.
Right.
Brady's been there.
I think I'm more disappointed that Chev just came at me with the could-haves, what-ifs, and maybe if it's, right? Yeah,
No, and he does say he just doesn't see. He says the Titans have gotten better. He said just that he's no doubt he sees that, but he just doesn't see them getting there. He thinks it's Kansas City or Baltimore, and I can respect that. We talked about that. We absolutely talked about that. So.
Right. I just think that the people are very, very high on Green Bay, and I think that talent-wise on paper that it's there. But I think Cobb coming back, and I've never been a fan of players, and maybe he'll be the most rejuvenated Aaron Rodgers ever.
Excuse me.
But for a diva that requires so much attention and so much consideration for how he does his team. Now, he should have a say in the team, but it's a weird dynamic over there. Not quite as weird as Pete Carroll and Russ Wilson, but it's definitely not okay.
So it sounds like I just don't see this.
So let me give you my Titans, right? Because you kind of stopped me and you took off on your tangent.
Wow.
Right. So here's the thing: is the Titans, right? Well, preseason, right? They have depth. Yes, they're 22 of 22, and that's super-tacular. But do they have the depth?
Yes.
Not according to that preseason game against the Titans. Now, it's a bunch of scrubs. It's limited playbooks. I get it.
People are fighting for jobs. You're trying to fill out the last 7 spots on the roster.
Yep.
I'm with you.
But looking at depth, right? Looking at depth and how the depth is playing. The Titans, if we remember 2 seasons ago, that unbeatable Patriots team in the first round, when they're a wild card 6-team scrub, clipped the Patriots. Who'd they clip next? The Ravens.
Yeah.
Right? So I keep hearing all these things, but I've also watched a lesser Titans team clip these same people that we're saying are unstoppable.
No, you're right.
I look at that, and I look at what Tom Brady struggles with, and I think that Vrabel and a solid linebacking core. Tom Brady does not do well against 3-4. He just doesn't. I know he's the GOAT, but he struggles more against more linebackers being on the field than having one or two linebackers.
Yes, he does.
Right, because that's more people and more adjusted coverages.
Correct.
Right, and Tom Brady's not a scrambler. Right, I'm not worried about Tom Brady doing the option read. I'm not. Right?
You should be. You should be. The man's got over 1,000 rushing yards in his career.
Bro, and that man's knees are 1,002 years old.
Right.
I'm telling you.
So,
right. But I say that, and just if the Titans defense holds up with Janoris Jenkins and King and Byard, and that linebacking core, shoring up the middle with Danico Autry, and Simmons is coming into his own as a force to be reckoned with. He's the poor man's Myles Garrett. Right?
Right.
And yes, I'm a homer. Yes, I'm passionate.
Titans drinking that Kool-Aid tonight, guys.
It is good. It's fruit juicy red, if y'all are wondering. It's got the 3 ice cubes. The ones with the circle where the liquid can go through it, not them shitty like dollar store ones. These good ice cubes.
So I'm very surprised we had the same 2 teams. I love the fact that we picked different champions here. So guys, let me know down below, who do you have coming out of the NFC? Who's your NFC championship teams? And who's the winner in the NFC? And then as well, we've heard a couple, AFC picks. We've heard our NFC picks. Let me know who you have making the Super Bowl. Let me know who you have winning it all this year. Titan, one last question before we head out of here today. What are you drinking tonight? I've got a sweet tea vodka, nice tea drink made here. That's what I've been sipping on this evening. What do you got?
So I decided to be a little bit adventurous, right? And so it turned out okay. So I mixed a splash of the sweet tea Bang with a little bit of amaretto.
Ooh.
And so it's this chalky kind of like just harder flavored tea. A little bit of energy, right? Because, those experienced veteran quarterbacks like you and we need a little bit more rest in the preseason. Right?
I love where you took this.
I got to study the playbook tomorrow.
Speaking of which, I'm implementing a new playbook tonight. Let's go.
But yeah, so that's kind of where
I love it. Like I said, we're trying to.
Where I'm at. It's nothing crazy.
We're trying to relax a little bit while we're doing these podcast streams. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for tuning in today. NFL predictions, episode 2 of King's Corner. You guys heard it. Titan, as always, man. Thank you so much for your valued input and the camaraderie, the laughs, and the fun, man. This was great tonight.
Oh, I love it. I think this is probably my new favorite thing that we've done in a long time. I'm really enjoying it.
I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to come. And speaking of what's to come, next week we're inviting Chevelle 1969, a small streamer here on Twitch, over to step into the box, step into King's Corner. We're going to talk to him about his streaming life, his streaming career, what he's got going on in his life outside, if he's willing to talk about some things, and what kind of got him into streaming, as well as what he's done to promote himself, and a little bit of why he's streaming, because he does a little bit something different than all of us. He's got a dedicated night to stream for a cause, so we'll let him talk about that next week. But I'm excited to bring him onto the show. As always, Titan, thank you so much, brother. This was a blast.
Yes, thank you. That was a fantastic time, and I'm really looking forward. I know you mentioned Chevelle, absolutely hell of a guy, amazing gamer, twice as amazing of a human being.
Absolutely.
And just excited to get him on. Right?
So excited for episode 3 next week, guys. But I hope y'all enjoyed episode 2 of King's Corner. We talked NFL predictions. Let me know in the comments down below all your predictions for the season. We'll definitely be checking out the comments below. I know I will. Titan has the link. He knows where everything is. He can come in here and talk to you guys as well. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week for episode 3 in our conversation with Chevelle 1969. We'll catch you next time. See you later.